Hi, good morning. It's exactly sunrise. It's sunrise right now. It's hi, good morning. Well, whatever lifetime or time zone or time of day you're in. So Mother's Compassion Earth says it backwards, but it always says Mother's Compassion Earth behind me. And oh my God, downstairs it's making videos. My hands are just. I was afraid to put my hand under the warm water, for like because I didn't know how brittle. You get so excited videoing the river, the waterfall, and the moon dancing in the trees, and I got to see Nort for a minute, and that was such a blessing. Well, it's always such a blessing. And here, you can turn this off, but you can leave on this note. There you go. You don't have to watch this ever, but just try it out. Just try it out. Whenever you're going through anything, and if it's not one of your favorite moments ever, bring love and see what happens. Okay, so, it's 1 minute past sunrise. Okay. But Ted Lee, thank you so much for being so patient with me on these covers. Oh my God. Oh, that's not a cover. Oh, wait, oh no, I had this going in there. Got to turn the angle here. How's that work? Okay, but it inside could it should I speed me mang so scream. Bruce Malokai Kriomba, but something else be what would I don't. That's, I guess it's funny because I didn't even remember the original version, but it's so in my blood from playing in the house so much growing up in the 60s. Oh, for My Fair Lady, I could have danced all night. And I've been singing that for years, and who sings, actually, I think her voice is dubbed in it, but on October 28th, Audrey, like Audrey Hepburn, but Audrey May, because her middle name is from my grandma May, from my mom's mom, was born October 28th. So still so over the moon, like every day, so over the moon about her being born. And here's some of the ways that you can get to be both over the moon, within the moon, and dancing of the moon of you, and dancing from the every point of view that's ever been, and you go sing for from everyone that's ever been, and you go sing with the heart of every being now, and you go sing with the light of every being ever. It is found by you. It's a love light of you. Wait, let me move it over. That's the audio back up there. So if anybody wants to add on to anything that we're birthing now, so go ahead. Go ahead. Hanukkah and Christmas get to be together in the same breath as Kwanzaa. The founder of Kwanzaa was really, oh my God, the way the FBI hounded African American groups. Look what they were doing in Southern California. This was Southern California, but I mean, the Black Panthers were created in, Bobby Seale and Huey Newton in '66 in the Bay Area there. Hi. And who had played, was it Dar? Who played at Alcatraz? And I still say, Jeff, you've been so much in my heart. I haven't, right? Because I always think of you as, well, this is one of my best friends who's battling brain cancer, and the right side of his body he wakes up every day. It's just really intense because he can't really, has to focus so much just to hold something in the right hand, and then just to move to get out of bed, and then he can't walk the way he was able to walk, and or as far, and he can't bicycle now. But miracles of healing in the every breath of every other. Oh, Patrick, I hope you're feeling God so much better. And Bree, like just miracles of really, really good healing to you, Bree. Oh my God, and Laura, miracles, and Tara and Betty Lynn. God, Andrea, just this is every being ever could use some healing love light right now. So go ahead, reach into the resource of everyone that's ever been without being infiltrative, without bothering anybody. When you're in the middle of napping, you can do this. You can sing from the heartlight of every being ever. You can turn back into heartlight of each being. You can sing from the heartlight of every being ever. You can find yourself in the heartlight of each other. You are found by love. Because everyone's the heartlight of each. We didn't even play piano yet. So yesterday was the first time playing quite a while, and then went to go hang out with Star, and that was such a blessing. And Star was trying to teach me on what because he just found himself playing with Vicky Sue Robinson turned the beat around. So he's just playing that on just unamplified electric guitar, as if, and there was nobody to wake up. But it's so wonderful when people you love, the people you just met, but everybody's who you love deep down. The second you go back to napping and you hear a heart light of ever being that has ever been. Right, the folks that thought that they had to just play loud music and now they've got a baby and they sing so softly or they play so softly so the baby sleeping on their chest doesn't wake up because they're singing so gently of the heart light of every grandmother, of every mother ever. See, it's Mother's Compassion Earth right behind me. And anywhere ever, it's just in my blood of the day. It was about 3 or 4 in the morning, a few hours before going out downtown, 6.5 miles away to Northampton, to the counter march, you know, with people wearing pussy hats to challenge Trump. God, and then just reading some heartbreaking stuff on, like this party that Brett Kavanaugh had just attended. The whole conflict of interest thing that you go through all the time with Clarence Thomas, and we used to go through with Scalia all the time. Just like, you should, there should be a bar. You recuse yourself, and that's the real thing. It's like dictatorship 101. You keep everybody off balance so that politics of chaos existed before and after Trump. It's just that Trump's a master at keeping the imbalance, keeping the chaos going. Keep thinking about, like, there's enough charges obviously to put him away in jail for years, but I can't see him ever submitting to being, in jail. So I could picture him leaving the country if he ever thought he was actually going to be hauled off, because then he could be transmitting his own Trump network news from whatever country that he kicked down some money to. Because there's always somebody willing to work with you. When all the banks in America wouldn't deal with him anymore, that's how he got so tied in with Russia. He went into so many bankruptcies, and he just kept screwing people over. Even the Polish immigrants who, off the books, built Trump Tower, he just stonewalled on paying them. And oh my God. All right, what? Oh no, but victory if somebody's getting me to say it instead of sing it, like prayerfully poem it to you. So wait, so we left off in F yesterday. So we'll go in E flat. What would it take to sing you everywhere? What would it take to breathe your light to you? What would it take to sing the every Hanukkah and every Christmas and Kwanzaa in every breathing that could use love light right now? Before there was the FBI in the 20s, that was the Bureau of Investigation. J. Edgar Hoover was with the FBI before it was even the FBI. God. The stranglehold that someone could have presidents coming and going, and he's like the director all those years, and the secrets they would have of people, because he was, how he liked to dress and his affection for men. He was so paranoid. So the fact, look into like the way that the FBI like bugged, hounded, recorded, and wrote crazy letters to, threatening things to Martin Luther King, or like I said, to the like fake letters that they sent to like the head of, or the guy who founded Kwanzaa. This really heartbreaking. You want people to hear the heart of every other. You want people to sing from the heart light of each other. You'd really love for folks to feel the heart light, the heartbeat, the heart prayer, the home light, the home song, the home feeling that you get when you don't mind bringing love, the home light, the feeling that you get when you don't mind bringing love, forever being ever, when you don't mind bringing love, when you don't mind bringing love, when you don't mind bringing love. All this light of miracles, all these heart-breathing miracles, you can be very much an atheist and you still can feel these miracles. Nothing to do with a specific religion. Oh wait, hold on, that was moving over there. Hold on. The wind has been wild this morning. It's like, again, I'm like reliving the frozen fig. Yeah, I'm glad that they're able to dance now, because I just leave the bare hand out. What was it? Hold this out. Kept that in the pocket. Well, that's why this hand's more fun. But now it's getting to be limber again. And I'm getting so old, you could use the word spry. What, right? You don't say you're spry. You know, you're spry for a 23-year-old. But lifespan, right? You know, beginning of industrial revolution. Just, you know, the Northampton, 6.4 miles away that I'm from here, in Northampton, England, and it's named for, it was some of the first insurance tables they ever did. And there was the average life expectancy when they say 26, 27 or so years of age. That factors in that if you get sick with just a smidgen of what would, now you'd go and do some amazing healing herbs or hold off on the antibiotics, but the antibiotics can be helpful when you need it, you know. I mean, they can go years without antibiotics, or you do the kind of antibiotics like this, Miriam makes this Wise Ways Herbals, like this whole heal salve. So the stuff on cuts that you wouldn't end up becoming infected, you get it early on, or even early stages of infection, you could get and clear it up just by putting the calendula, and this, it has the St. John's wort and the echinacea in it, you know, and maybe the comfrey. I think comfrey's in there too. And what maybe, no, not chaparral in that one. The chaparral and other healing salve. Chaparral's used for cancer. From, like, you know, look at a friend I was just recommending to Healing with Whole Foods, a book by Paul Pitchford. It's like a Bible for acupuncturists. And so in the cancer part of the book, like dressing like remedies, like so Pau d'Arco in South America for cancer, and like chaparral in the Southwest, you know, what was former Mexico before we stole California and New Mexico and Arizona and California, you know, Oregon, Washington, you know, from Mexico. Man, Polk, just President Polk, you know, just like these poor presidents, these poor dictators. They want to just sing from their heart. They want to feel their heart and share their exact what they're going through, so they can just have the realest life with people around them and whoever they're about to meet. And instead, just the whole thing of hanging on, wielding power. But in this case, the expansionist, it's just like, and it's not just like, oh, going, and it's the combined horror of like taking Mexico from Mexico, but expanding the slave states. That's it. The battle between slave owning states and non-slave owning states. You know, and I know that, man, someone should talk to Bill Burr. To see that thing that he just said about, you know, like, why are you going after John Wayne? It's the Playboy interview from 70 or 71 or whatever it was, where he famously said, I remember seeing this years ago, where he was thinking that he was like in favor of white supremacy. He said until blacks can be properly educated or something like that. Find the exact Playboy interview that John Wayne did. But he's carrying on about that. Dude, look into, all right, Jay Hoberman, the film critic, teaching at Cooper Union for years, was the wonderful film critic for the Village Voice for years. It's called An American Dream, the best book I've ever seen on films, what films were being made in America while war efforts were continuing, like conflating the, you know, just bring it like what was happening simultaneously, protests at Dow Chemical, and then what was happening exactly in Vietnam at that time. And also in '68, the first time that George Wallace ran for president, it's hard to read from. I always had trouble understanding whether he gave more than one check, but John Wayne gave at least $10,000 to the 1968 campaign of George Wallace. So Bill Burr, if that's the guy's name, whatever, and he's like thousands and thousands of people at Red Rocks, and it's one thing about casually, but dude, you're like being pro-white supremacy in that moment. Like, find out if you're gonna put that into your routine in front of thousands of people and get repeated to millions of people. Look into, I mean, George Wallace got at least $10,000 donated to him. This is verified in the book by J. Hoberman, again, one of the best film critics in America for many decades. Like I said, teaching down in Lower Manhattan at Cooper Union for years, and written some other books. But it's got a red cover, a fatty book. It's an amazing book. It's like a favorite film criticism book that I've ever had. And you open up anywhere, and it's just a blessing to read from. You know, heartbreak, but a blessing to read from. And John Wayne, from his wonderful dead perch, is whispering to the ears of present-day white supremacists, "Don't be like him." You know, it's like it's so heartbreaking. He ended up, I think, he had part of a lung removal. He got some cancer. But half the people that were on the film set that where he was starring in the desert, where the nuclear bomb tests were going on. So like, because people who lived in Nevada and Utah would be downwind, would get the winds, and the federal government wouldn't settle with them. This was in the 40s and 50s, and they wouldn't settle with them until the 90s. Because think about the interest you could get by stonewalling in court and saying, no, we didn't have responsibility. And then by the time you do pay off in the 90s, when Clinton made the apology, you're paying off, the people who were suffering with it, they're long dead. And you didn't really pay anything because you had 40 years of interest, by holding off on paying. Oh, but the film is, again, John Wayne as Genghis Khan. It's called The Conqueror. And look at the thing of like the cancer rates of people who died on the set of the film The Conqueror with John Wayne as Genghis Khan. Just like John Wayne as Genghis Khan. Just like, so it's like, it's tough because you're younger, you see him in the 30s, or what was late 30s, the film class, that I wouldn't go to certain film class things they wanted us to see because John Ford, I think 39 was Stagecoach, and there's some remake of it, but like you'd go to the film professor, you'd be like, I can't watch this, I can't witness this. Oh, like I wouldn't see Gone with the Wind. I wouldn't. Oh no, I wouldn't. And I wouldn't see Gone with the Wind. I wouldn't see The Birth of a Nation. I'd seen like a few seconds or some stills of whatever it was, and I'm like, I'm not supporting that. I'm not going to see it and talk about. You're saying what excellent film techniques. That's crazy. So you work with the professor, you'd be like, what film? Oh, okay, if it's not horrifically racist, like Birth of a Nation. It's like, right? The Birth of a Nation was so proudly, joyously by the president. Was it Wilson at that time? Don't worry about what words fun. I'm like letting go of all the intense politics of it, just like sing to help the earth to feel at home. Sing to let some species be at home. Sing now to anyone on the earth that's ever been. And let your heart just be simpatico with them. Simpatico with them. Hi ho, a vegan Dario is simpatico. Okay, I'm such an annoying vegan dude. Oh my God, I'm gonna try this thing. It's gonna be like, it's I've never had it before. It's like eggs texture, and you said you can scramble it, but there's no eggs in it. So I'm tempted to, but just to have access, just to the miracle of, but having more pea protein lately because that's PEA. Although if you're trapped under rubble, please give yourself permission not to be grossed out if you need to drink your own urine, because it might take another few days or a week for folks to come and extricate yourself from under the rubble from the earthquake you're in. It'd be like, because then otherwise it'll say like, miracle, dogs are sniffing and people are trying to get to you and save your life, and you don't want your tombstone to read, died of embarrassment because you wouldn't drink your own pee because you were trapped under rubble. People are like, I mean, I can understand, not peeing on, your foot because you had a jellyfish sting or something. I don't know, you have to interview every pea on earth, interview every jellyfish, interview everyone that's ever been on any earth, and go sing from everything and turn into the heart light that you have ever been, and you have ever been the love of light, song of heart, song of every cell and pebble, and every skimming stone loves to hear the heart of you. We didn't outfit these fish with helmets. How dare you be skimming stones across the top of the water that they're in? The water that they're in. These fish just got hit by rocks. We hope they went so slow. Right, because we worry about rocks. People I'm so neurotic. Like people joyfully at Riverside just skimming stones, and that's the beauty of like things go so slow when they hit water and they go down in water, but hopefully, like what's the, but even a rock going to, but it's wild because some of the new and old loved ones, they bring the kids and grandkids down to the river downstairs, and they get a big joy of just picking up a rock and putting it and throwing, not skimming stones. And again, I just worry. I'm like, part of me is like, run, fishes, run, because the fishes are adorable. The littlest ones, they love nibbling the skin off your ankles, And if you were in France or Vietnam or some place where you're paying all this money to have your skin be nibbled off by fishes, And again, it's like you interview every fish. You know, are you here against your will? That's where I feel really good about the fish nibbling on my ankles downstairs by the waterfall, because they're coming of their own intent. They haven't been captured by some spa or nail salon or something. And having said that, when I was saying about, because you think about like the different folks from Southeast Asia and other places, you know, that work in nail salons, it's like the fumes can be so toxic, and it's not just the way it is. There are non-toxic fumes you could do with nail painting still. And Nort and I, we were visiting New York and going, coming back, I'm trying to remember, towards my car, just, we were in was it Flushing? What part of Queens were we in? And there was a wonderful nail salon, and we just loved the folks, but we couldn't breathe. It was so intense. So we're like, we're going to make you some art, some free art, some thank you art for all the love light that you bring to the nail work that you do and all the other love that you bring. But we'll do it outside your nail salon, and then we'll go in like this and hand you the paintings that we just made. What would it take to sing from every breath that you've ever participated in? What would it take for you to help folks to feel at home? What would it take for you to suddenly want to help Earth right now? What would it take for you to want to help Earth? What would it take for you want to bless Earth? If Christians and Jews can have Hanukkah and Christmas at the same time this year, then every holiday can be kissed by the love light of every other's holiday's love light. Blocking out where it says behind me there again. I think my fat hair is blocking out Mother's Compassion Earth. Be like, what is that 3-word series? It's saving just prepositions. Like, why is the sentence designed that way? So first of all, we wouldn't be here. Nobody's here without a mother. Nobody's here without a mother. We're all here thanks to every mother ever. Compassion, that's bring a mother's compassion. The fact that, what was it like, you know, whatever your sense of God is or whatever said yes to creation, luckily God was yes to love, not like, oh, I just let all these species and creatures be born. Nah, back to the drawing board, white mouth starting again. No, it's like, let everyone who's born have a life that they'd most love to have. A life of nurturing, a love of letting every heart ring, letting everyone be simpatico with each breath that we're all connected to. It's true. Every breath on every earth is what we are connected to. Oh, wait, sorry. I can't. Oh, my God. Right there. That's the backup audio there. But no reason anybody should be listening to this. But if you are, you can add you and your family and friends and whatever creatures in their life that are raising up their wings or their paws or something. And they want to help. They want to add to these songs. They want to help folks to feel free, to know that they and everyone else are always welcome to belong. It's been a little different now, a little bit on the all. Wait, hold on. Bum bum stir Smedel on scheisten Krisen in der Waffeln. What's in there? Oh, dude, there's an album cover track behind there. Okay, hold on. So I said I was thanking Ted Lee before. He's been so patient. He's been waiting like 7 years for these album covers. He came so close. I've only handed him 14 paintings, which is 7 album covers, like double side here. But I think of almost all of them as still unfinished because they want to keep dancing. They want to keep showing up in ceremony that our breath is always from. Snart ein spiel, wat gooi spin wit, viel aan de hand aan hoogjes. Lol, I think it's here to If you're looking in swim, choose compassion for Texas. Help folks to let folks live their own true heart lives in Texas. If a mother's got a kid growing in her and she doesn't want that kid to be born this time around, don't make up something about a fetal heartbeat. It's not really a heartbeat. You know, there's an impulse, there's an electrical impulse, but it's 6 weeks and 1 day to say that you have to have a baby. At 6 weeks and a day to say that you have to have the baby. Are you gonna support everything that baby does? Are you gonna be in that baby's life? Or are you just gonna force that mom to become a mom? Maybe the mom's a mom already. Maybe it's a case of rape or incest. It's so crazy that just people wanting to control other people's lives, forcing them to have a kid, not sitting with the feelings of what that mother goes through for the next 18 years raising that kid. You know, a friend I hadn't seen so many years. We were just having this wonderful talk. You know, I hadn't talked. It's the most we'd ever talked. A friend I hadn't seen in person in years and years and years. And God, you know, and her older brother, her firstborn, he was, you know, it was her mom was raped by a male soldier, you know, with a higher rank in the military, and that's how her brother was born. You know, and to live with that, because you want the kid to be just to have nothing but, you know, if everybody's conceived in love, because rape is not an act of sex, it's an act of violence. And all violence stems from fear, and fear of like getting close enough to see exactly who you're in the same breath with, in the same area with, who you're connecting. And why not? There's such joy, so much immune boosting joy waiting for you if if you just, say yes to the heart light, to like getting fearless enough to look for the heart light in the other, right? That's the miracle that happened. You just stand vigilant. You stand to make sure that nobody else gets attacked like you got attacked or like your loved ones got attacked. But instead of wanting to punish and punish and punish, I mean, justice, yes, but be fair, so that ideally, so many cultures, it's wild, like, you want folks to have to learn and grow so they can have that epiphany shift, so that they want to be like do good, spend the rest of their life making up and do good things for the society. That's why in Norway, that guy that killed like over 60 folks, maybe over 70. First he killed, it was in Oslo, and then he drove and he acted as a police officer. He faked being a police officer. He went to the socialist summer camp where every year these high schoolers would be in Norway, and he killed over 60 there. But the Norway laws are that he couldn't be sentenced to death, and he couldn't be sentenced to more than, I think it's 21 years in jail. I mean, it's subject to review and to keep being back in there if he doesn't have a sense of really, really been rehabilitated, you know. Because there's like, yes, this truth and reconciliation and restorative justice, but again, interview the heart of every being. Because some people are like, yes, we had the people who killed my family come and testify that what they did and that they're sorry, because that's it. I'm wondering about like Archbishop Tutu, since he died a year ago, it was last December, because he was put in charge by Nelson Mandela of being in charge of the Truth and Reconciliation for them, what happened in South Africa, and he did it such a beautiful job that he was invited to create, restorative justice, truth and reconciliation commission in Rwanda, and Rwanda is not just, you always hear like the 800,000 people killed in 100 days, but it's not just, I mean, it doesn't just happen to people being issued radios and being lied to over the radio what folks are doing, and then having all these people who've lived beside each other are suddenly killing each other with machetes. And by the time that Mandela sent Archbishop Tutu to Rwanda to begin the investigations, there was still, I mean, we're talking about months and months and months later, like maybe a year later, there's still, all of his bodies are still rotting in these churches where they were killed. Moved into just, Jesus, you want people to hear each other's heartbeat and feel each other's heart light. You feel each other's heart like you're not going to say, I think I hear, going back to the electrical impulse of you must have that kid. Have faith that that woman or girl who's been raped or just doesn't want to have the kid, maybe it was an act of love, but they still are not prepared. They are so financially strapped or overwhelmed and they couldn't give to the rest of the kids in their life. And they, and plus the punishment of just the horror of how this country is starting with Clinton in '96 when he co-opted the Republican campaign of Republican platform when he ran for re-election in '96, of throwing, of not allowing a woman an extra penny. You know what I mean? Like, hi, you're having another kid, another mouth to feed, another kid to support, to be nurturing too, and we're not going to give you any more money for that because that's our idea of punishing people. And they say like throw folks off welfare, but the amount of what the money that goes to corporate welfare is way, 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 way higher than any money that people get for not working. You know, right? Like if look at what food subsidies would be, like the water subsidies. If it leads to the growing of the grain, like 70% of the grain in this country that's grown is to feed animals. So it's a false price of what the animals would really cost if, of because how much grain it takes to have 1 pound. The highest impact is beef, and then the next is pigs, and the lightest impact in terms of grain to produce one is chicken. But that's also because as opposed to when you and I were, I don't know when you grew up, I was going to say when I was growing up, they let chickens live way longer instead of 24-hour lighting as if it's daylight all the time. You eat, and your breasts are so big that the chicken you are born to be that you can't even stand upright. But you don't have to stand upright because you can't spread your wings. And there's different countries in the world that are just like, outlawing those kind of treatment of chickens. And the average chicken in this country that's eaten, how old it gets to be? 6 weeks old. That's it. But again, not to feel guilty. I mean, I'm vegan, but I'm not. I'm no better than anybody else. Every vegetable is alive and singing, and needs to be respected by my every nibble. You know, again, have a dialogue. Your digestion. A lot of if you have any digestion problems, if you interview every bite and every nibble, and so caringly, thankfully chew whatever it is, whether it's plant or animal or anything, if you chew it 20 times each chew, you're not going to make your body work so hard to process it, and you'll have your system will flow like way, way better. All right, I'll be quiet. Yeah, me, Jeff will be quiet for the first time ever. Okay. Stone green speak but I swallow more me bandstand rich me fist don't you see it no rich people grand to the details all the dos nibble banga hot spring rolling in but that is I don't know how it came out. It felt like I was singing like the Flintstones tune, but I don't know what it sounded like to you. Dude, I'm so old. When the Flintstones were first on, they were like a nighttime program because they were like a versioning of the Honeymooners, and they were on like at least 7, maybe 8 o'clock at night. Because usually like prime time doesn't begin to till 8, although it's no, if you're in the Midwest, right? Remember, you go 8 Eastern, 7 Central, and then we have the FBI, a Quinn Morton production. Dude, look in People's History of the United States. Look at this amazing soul, Salcedo, who did not fall, was like thrown out of 14 floors down in Lower Manhattan. And he was a wonderful friend of, the anarchists of Sacco and Vanzetti. And because when he was killed by the FBI, that's why Sacco and Vanzetti was one of them. I don't know if it's both of them, but one of them, at least one of them started carrying a piece, started carrying a weapon. Okay, so you see here, this is present day going on. You're like, Jeff, that's from, that's from like over 100 years ago. This is like, 100 years ago. So, but see, kissing phones together while looking up coltan. And coltan, if this is you're seeing in a cell phone, it's in every cell phone, it's in every Sony PlayStation, and it's in almost every laptop. COLTAN. So that's what it had right there. Oh, it's backwards, but you could read the coltan right there. And so it's mined in Central and East Africa. We're all from. If you're talking with white supremacists, you'd be like, like a million years ago, everybody started immigrating, migrating from Africa. And so there's a saying in Africa that when the elephants fight, it's the grasses that get trampled. And find a documentary narrated by the amazing actress, like this Robin Wright from House of Cards, the Princess Buttercup. But she's become this amazing actress, and she just worked for like 11 years with these folks, and it's where all the conflict minerals in Africa. What we need, we're the elephants, because we're fighting over, I need this device and I need this device. This phone is not possible without the coltan, C-O-L-T-A-N, that's in it. And if you try and get a conflict-free cell phone, you're going to be waiting months and months and months, and you might not be able to kind of get the kind of cell phone that you wanted to. But I should stop talking, because I'm talking over the other people. This is a barbershop of everyone's. I mean, I haven't been to the bar. What a surprise! I haven't been to the barber since 8th grade. But whoever was watching for like 30 seconds or 40 seconds, they left because I was probably driving them crazy over the middle of the day, and they're like, "What kind of forgotten thing is this guy saying?" Or that I wasn't making music, and we left off in E flat, and we'll go to D flat, Sound of the Earth again. Silver, just passing 3 days ago. Silver, this amazing carriage horse of New York City, just passed away up in Maine, in Canaan, Maine. And I know all the other horses on the farm with you. They feel your love no matter where you go or say or feel or think or do. If you're a horse and you've got symphonies in the brain, how do they get expressed? If you're a horse and you're sung by the heart of light that makes up everyone, if you're a horse, know that you are from the heart light of everywhere, the heart light of everyone. If you are a horse, then you know how to heal. If you are a horse, let folks know how they feel. Go and sing from everything, and go and sing from everything, and go and sing from everything right now. Find yourself from everything and notice you are everything, as so is everyone else all along. Everyone is it. Everyone's the light of love. The second you make room, life gets kinder. Everyone's the soul of light. Everyone's the light of love. Everyone is made to help Earth out now. Everyone is from your heart. All of a sudden you fail. You feel, you feel, you sing the heart of you. You feel, you let love come into view. You go and interview the every molecule that's ever been, and suddenly you don't mind making room. Suddenly you don't mind making room. Suddenly you don't mind. Suddenly you don't mind making room. And suddenly you don't mind. Suddenly you don't mind making room for every and ever. Suddenly you don't mind making room. You don't mind making room for the sake of every being ever. Suddenly you don't mind creating space, and instead of co-opting, you just feel the breath of loving light in every other. How'd you do that? How'd you do that? How'd you sing from every heart light? How'd you do that? How'd you do that? How'd you sing from every heart light? Snarkran to do spin it up on what he band. I'm going to بستر fianna al grande despira. I'm holding up. Now listen, listen. What are we holding? What are we letting through? What are we holding up? What are we singing through? How'd you get yourself into the view light of every being? How'd you sing the heart light of every being? How'd you let folks know that they are also every being? Oh my God, that person's face and everything that's coming into view near it. Oh my God, you just got sung by every light of every being. Oh my God, you just got felt by every light of every being. Oh my God, you just got moved into the heart of every being. Here you go. Here you go from singing. Here you go from love. Here you go from finding out everyone is made of the heart, the breath, the light of love of all, the song, the soul, the kindest love of all. bring love, and you won't mind folks now. And you will sing from each breath that's ever been. And you will go make room, and you will go make room, and you will go make room. For the sake of every earth, now you will go make room. You will go make room. You will go make room for the sake of every earth now. Here you go, just singing. Here you go, the heart line. Here you go, just making room for every other. Here you go, just singing. Here you are, the heart light. Wait a sec. Here you are, the heart light of every being ever. Here you are, the soul shine. Here you are, the kind mind. Here you are, the undefined of every being ever. Your poem and your prayer and your pulsing and your singing. You found in every breathing of every being ever. And you're sung by light, no matter what is happening. Yeah, you're sung by love light. No matter what is happening, yeah, you're sung by love light. No matter what is happening, all alone, you're sung by every soul. All alone, you're found by every light. All right, we'll go. We got to end up here. Wait. So we started at 7:12 exactly at sunrise, and now it's 7:53 a.m. Eastern. So 2 days after Kim's birthday, 1 day before my brother Scott's birthday. We shared a room from when he was born, oh my God, until he was 7 and I was 15. So sharing a room with my amazing brother. Until then, I had to share a room with my sister. Then my sister got married at 18, then Scott got a room at 7 and I got the room at 15. And then Michelle is still in love with Henry. So I'm so glad that worked out. And then they've got this second granddaughter ever, my second grandniece ever, the firstborn to Tracy. This is a little off the top, a little off the top. All right, hi. It's Audrey Bay. Audrey Bay. You sing from every love and light. You sing from every world and warmth and willow and sway. And you just got sang from every heart light. You find yourself breathing in the heart light of each other. Here you are. Here you are. You are formed by the love light of every mother. Here you are. Here you are. You're formed and you're forming by the heart light of each other. You are born from the breath, from the birth of every mother, and you're sung by every being. Your love is sung by every moment ever. It's attached to the love light of every being ever. It's compassionately detached and it sings from every being